As someone born and raised in London and has lived in New York City, this is my take on both cities. I'm gonna break it down into cost of living, social life, work life. Let's dive into it. First one, cost of living. It's far more expensive to even rent a room in New York City than in London. I say this because with London, you are in zones, and so in New York City, it's broken down into 5 boroughs, right? You've got Staten Island, Brooklyn, Manhattan, the Bronx, Queens. For a room, Manhattan, you're looking around minimum 1,700, and you'll probably be sharing with 4 people or so. You can live in Brooklyn, apartment for $3,000, or a room which is you'll share with 1 other person, or if you get an ensuite and share with 2 other people, you're looking around 1,500 to 1,800. And so I was living in Brooklyn and I commuted to my office that was in Hudson Yard. Do you know what I noticed, guys? I have a mic. My mic on. Didn't really have any cockroach infestation or mice, which I thank God, because it was a thing that I didn't know of until I moved out there and people were living houses, apartments infested with cockroach and rats, I should say, not even mice. They were huge. Transport. What took me off guard is how cheap New York City public transport is than in London. London, you're looking around, for me, where I was living before, I was spending around £14 a day. That is around $16 to $18 a day to go back and forth. Obviously, where I was living is like zone 20, and I was commuting into the city centre. City centre, do we say city centre? No, we don't. Into central. And in New York City, it's $3 no matter where you are for a single trip. And the max you spend a week is $34. It's capped for $34. The thing is groceries. London is far more cheaper for groceries than in New York City. Guys, I was taken back at the cost of groceries, especially someone who's into organic protein. And, you know, I've changed my lifestyle, my diet, and the organic section, yes, it's expensive in London, but not as expensive in New York City. When shopping in London, you have your Tesco, your Aldi, your Asda, your Waitrose, your M&S. And if you compare it to New York City, you have your Whole Foods, which is equivalent to M&S and Waitrose out here. And then you have Whole Foods Market, I should say, and Trader Joe's, which is the equivalent of Tesco and Asda out here. And then there's actually a Lidl and Aldi in New York City, and the same out here. As a single female who cooks for herself, I was spending $80 to $100 on my weekly shopping. Consider the tipping culture out there, because it's not much of a culture out in London. New York City, the bartenders wait heavily depend on the tipping out there, and I was advised from a native New Yorker when it comes to sit down restaurants, 20 to 30% being the max that they'll tip for a meal. And if you're doing a service like hair, nails, etc., it's 10 to 20% that they tip out there. London, as there's already a 20% added onto your bill usually, which is not mandatory, that's already included. Let's move on to social life, making friends in New York City versus London. I noticed when it comes to making friends in New York City, I feel like New York City, they were more open to meeting up and being intentional about community. There's a heavy community movement in New York City than in London. Like, I tried Bumble BFF in New York City, I should mention. I didn't have a great experience, only because I feel like the girlies are not really on there, right? And as someone who is moving to New York City, I don't have any friends, I don't have any family out there. Actually, I do have family, but not in New York City specifically. But I made friends pretty quickly out there, still friends till today. I guess having a story, being curious and putting yourself out there. A lot of my friends are from church, so it's really good. The girlies from church, transparent, especially the women's group, and how they can help through prayer or like resources. Making friends in London, because being born in London, you kind of grow up with the people from childhood, and when it comes to like texting and being intentional and meeting up for coffees, etc., people don't see it as being a beg in New York City than they would in London. I don't know what it is. People call you like, oh, you're doing too much, or you're being a beg if you come with that energy. Obviously not everyone, but majority of the time, how the culture is out in London, that is how it is viewed. Like, you can move to New York City at any age and the youth will be brought out of you. That city has so many things to do. You'll be blown away. Like, I had choice paralysis, yeah, when it came to things to do. This person is inviting you to this, and that's another thing. Once you put yourself out there, you make one friend, they know someone who knows someone, and everybody usually invites someone. I was using Luma, which is a good app to find events, and Eventbrite for more professional events, and Partiful for more community events. And they'll just invite you once you sign up or you go to one of the events. So just so much to do. Definitely take note of that, and don't be like me and go to like 3-4 events a day. When I first moved, I was doing 3-4 events a day because I was like, I need to make connection, I need to put myself out there, etc. I burnt out by autumn because I was doing too much in summer. I'm not a clubber, and so I guess that's why I was always just being outside, just put myself out there. As he said, my mentor was like, get out there, put yourself out there. I sure did. Work-life balance in New York City and London. What I will say, London definitely wins on work-life balance because more laws, regulations and benefits being an employee in London than in New York City. Much more intense, especially like in finance. Like, I know friends in investment banking and they're working late hours, like 12, 1 a.m. which is crazy to me. But I also had a pinch of that when I was working on a project, and I remember getting emails and messages around 3 a.m, 4 a.m. I was like, what is going on? I'm trying to catch some sleep. And so yeah, it was intense for a couple months until we finished the project. But yeah, that was new to me because back in London, when it's 5:30, we is closing our laptop and they're going to the pubs, drinks, etc., which is more of a culture in London, after work drink. Don't get it twisted, in New York, like the company I was at, we were going for dinners, but not as frequent, like after work dinners, like every day as they would. No, not every day, but every week as they would in London for drinks. So what was new was traveling. While I was within marketing and project management, I was traveling a lot in America, and so I got to go to the West Coast, which was nice. In London, you ain't flying out, you're taking train, but why am I going to like Manchester or Birmingham? Do you know what I mean? Like, the hub for tech is in the West Coast. It was good. That was a good experience. And in the room is salary. You weigh out your pros and cons, because the salary in US compared to London, no, UK, yeah, it's a big difference. But New York City compared to London is significant, right? But also they are working for that $500,000. So people talk about like vacation and stuff. I had unlimited PTO, paid time off. I know of friends who have 4 weeks max, including like sick days and public holidays. But in London, which is annual leave, 25 days on average, and that's without the public holidays and sick days. So weigh out your pros and cons. That is my experience working in both New York City and London. If you have lived in either cities, let me know your experience and which one you would want to live in. If I'm honest with you, I still would want to live in New York City. And that's because of the communities and just how I feel in New York City than in London. The opportunities and possibilities in New York City that I've been exposed to. But I still like London. London is still a home to me, and you can still build wealth and get opportunities here. But if you want to go to the next level, I definitely feel like it's in the USA. But yeah, I've enjoyed both cities. Catch you on my next video.